Good afternoon, Coach. We'll
Afternoon.
get started with Kristen and then Martin.
Sure.
Good afternoon, Doug. Heard you on WIP this morning, and I feel like fans were maybe a little bit relieved to hear some of that emotion come out of you after last night's game. Again, just kind of where you're at right now after that loss to the Giants.
Yeah, listen, I'm disappointed. We're all disappointed. The guys in the locker room at the end of the game they were frustrated. They were mad. I look back. We've had 14 days since we played a game, and of course we went into the intensive protocol last week, and things were a little different for us. But you know what? It's still my responsibility to have the team ready to play, and we came up short, and the guys are mad. They're disappointed because of that. We're all frustrated, and we know we're so much better, and we gotta buckle in this week, and everything's still right in front of us, and got a great opportunity on Sunday.
Martin and then Dave.
Hey, Doug. I wanted to ask you. Obviously, Alshon played yesterday, and JJ Arcega-Whiteside did not. I was wondering, what that says about how you feel about JJ and what your reasoning was to not having him in the lineup yesterday.
Well, listen, we knew Alshon was coming back, and we have to make some tough decisions on who's up and who's down, and I think moving forward, we know that Alshon is healthy and he's going, and I know his play time will increase probably each week, and it's something that as we construct game plans, who's going to be in, who's going to be out. They're tough decisions, and it could change this week is again, and we just have to make those decisions as we go each week. But it's nothing against JJ. We still got a lot of confidence in him. Quez Watkins has been down, guys like that, and the thing is, we got to get more out of the guys that are playing too, and that's something we got to focus on this week.
Dave and then Tim.
Hey, Doug, how would you assess your job as a play caller this year, and do you feel like you have a good sense of what should work for this offense?
Yeah, I mean, I feel good about the plays have been called. I even looked at the game yesterday and felt I was in rhythm, and I've always looked at the game through the eyes of the quarterback and how he views it and how he sees it. And I think it's important that quarterback and play caller are on the same page that way. And Carson and I have those conversations during the week and day before the game, and go through a lot of different scenarios, and we're prepared that way. And look, not every game is going to be perfect. There's going to be mistakes made, and there's going to be things that we're going to have to overcome, and that's that's part of our jobs, and that's nobody's perfect, and by no means am I perfect, and I'm going to make a decision error. I'm going to make a play calling error, but at the same time, hopefully I do my job to put the offense in position to be successful.
Go ahead, Tim, and then Jeff McLean.
Doug, you said you're happy with your play calling from yesterday, but you had also said that you were mad at yourself. So what is it that you were mad at or frustrated about yourself? What could you have done better?
Well, I think back, I got to look at not just the game, but I got to look at the body of work from the bye week on, right? I mean, we've had a lot of time to really kind of sit back and reflect and focus, and there's been a lot of questions asked. Why was the team flat? Why was there this? Why was there that? So those are things I look at, and there's things that go on that that as a head coach you have to deal with, and a lot of them are can be practice related or off the field issues and different things, and even in my own preparation, and I look back and I get frustrated because I want every play to work, right? I want every drive to end in a kick, whether it be a field goal or an extra point. And so when it doesn't happen, obviously that's where I get a little frustrated and a little upset. And what can I do better during the week? How can I coach a little bit better? How can I coach my coaches better? And those are all things that I look at, and I can definitely do a better job there.
Go ahead, Jeff, and then Zach Berman.
Doug, with the Jalen Hurts plays, he's only thrown twice on 30-something plays there. Do you sense that defenses are obviously keen on the run there? And then would it make sense to take Carson off the field like the Saints do with Drew Brees so that at least you have one more receiving option to give the defense something to think about?
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good idea.
So why haven't you done that?
It's a great idea. Something we'll look into.
Go ahead, Zach, and then Les Bowen.
Hey, good afternoon, Doug. There's a report on the NFL Network that Carson has had sloppy practice habits that he's been allowed to perpetuate. A, is that accurate? And B, how would you characterize the way Carson's playing in those times we don't see him?
Well, first of all, I did not see the report, and secondly, you guys are only out there for a short period of time, so I don't know where the information is coming from. Practice is where, we perfect our craft and we do the things with all of our players to detail their work and whether it be fundamentals in the individual periods, all the way through to even, for me, sometimes even stopping practice and repeating a play because we've made a mistake. So I don't understand where that's coming from, and we're just going to continue to coach and make sure we hold everybody accountable.
Go ahead, Les, and then Ruben.
Hey, Doug, just to follow up on that, though, what do you think of Carson's practice habits? Are they sloppy?
No.
Okay. You had a chance to look at the 0 for 9 third downs, I assume. What did you see there? What's not happening?
Well, the first 3rd and 1, I took a shot. I was taking a shot down the field based on film study, and we were up around midfield, and it was a great opportunity right there to capitalize. And then we just missed the throw to Dallas on that one. Later on, then we made the 4th down. Obviously, we converted the 4th down. We kept the drive alive. The next one was like a 3rd and 3. We failed to execute the play. It's a simple little pick route that we work in practice. It's something that we've got to continue to drill. It was between Travis and Jalen, and we just failed to execute right there. And James Bradbury, number 24, made a heck of a play on that play. And then the other ones, we kind of caught ourselves in some more 3rd and long situations, and we whether it be by penalty or lack of execution on 1st and 2nd down, kept us failed to execute in protection, whatever it might be. Kept us from executing those plays, and then of course at the end of the game when we were, having to throw the ball more, definitely longer yardage situations that we didn't overcome.
Ruben and then Rob.
Hey Doug, what is your overall assessment of Jalen Hurts and what he's given you? Seems to be a ball security issue. Is that a concern with you? And how do you see his role evolving here?
Ball security, what do you mean?
Well, there's been a couple fumbles just when he's been on the field.
Were they his fumbles or were they low snaps?
Well, I'm not talking about. Yeah, I'm just talking about. I mean, he's.
What are they? I mean, are they him dropping the ball or is it the center quarterback exchange? I mean, you say he fumbles the ball. I want to know specifically from your perspective what it is.
Well, I mean, I'm not watching the film. I'm not calling the play.
You're watching the game.
Tell me.
You're watching the game. So obviously you're not watching the game.
There's been 3 balls that have been on the ground that he's had in his hand. So, I mean, if there's not an issue there, tell me.
The issue is we have to do better with the center snap, right? I mean, the ones I think the ones that you're alluding to, I've talked to Kelsey about this before, and he's had a little history, and he knows it. And he's a pro, and he's going to get it fixed. But we got to get that center quarterback exchange dialed in, and a couple of those were low, and those are hard to handle. So I wouldn't put them all on Jalen. No.
Go ahead, Rob, and then John.
Your overall assessment of what he's given you.
I think early on we've been very explosive with him. I think we were close to 11 or 12 yards per attempt when he was in the game, something like that. I would say here recently, defenses are playing him a little bit differently. They've had chances to scout him, and I think it goes back to Jeff's question, where sure we could probably do a little bit more with him.
Go ahead, Rob, and then John.
Hey, Doug, there was such an emphasis on Carson and protecting the ball. And yesterday he came out, protected the ball, didn't really take any big time risks, and he managed the game very well. Do you think that could possibly take away, though, from his ability to create plays, his focus on wanting to protect the ball, maybe affecting his ability to create plays, extending plays, taking shots, or was that part of maybe the defense yesterday and what the defense was giving him?
Yeah, Rob. I mean, obviously there's a lot packed into that question. Obviously, the way the Giants, their structure of defense is they're going to try to keep everything in front of them. They don't allow, quite honestly, a lot of down the field throws or receivers to get down the field past the safeties, past the corners. They really do a great job of keeping everything in front. And then on top of that, if that's the case, then we know that the short to intermediate throw is going to be where you're going to have to live, for 4 quarters. And I thought Carson did a nice job there. And we even left plays on the field. I mean, look, it goes back to some of the protection issues I've mentioned. It goes back to some of our, lack of execution with some of the guys, in those third down situations where we could have stayed on the field and made some of those plays. But I thought for the most part, there were a couple throws that were high early in the game from him, but as the game wore on, he settled in. He stood in there, made a couple nice throws to Rich Rod. Just thinking of some things offhand, but yeah, I just think it's a little combination of both. And each week becomes a little bit different, and then some of it falls on me too as a play caller, right? To be able to call some of the, like for instance, the first 3rd and 1, I called a shot play, to take advantage of Hightower's speed down the field. Defense gave us a little different presentation. We had to go somewhere else with the ball, and we just missed. So those are all things that are fixable and correctable, and we get another opportunity this week.
Go ahead, John, and then Bo.
Hey, Doug. Now that you've seen the film, wanted to talk to you about that 4th and 10 play, which is obviously going to be difficult to convert in any circumstance. But as a former quarterback, can you kind of take me through that? You mentioned Bradbury before, what type of player he is, what kind of year he has. Do you sort of try to focus on where 24 is, or is that too much of a bang thing in that type of situation?
No, we knew where he was at, and we knew kind of going in what his plan would be. He typically matches, the top receiver with any opponent. We thought going in that he might, go with Travis a little bit, and he was there. But we moved Travis around enough to kind of keep him, I guess, guessing a little bit. And then on that particular play, they played a 2 deep man coverage. Carson, saw the one-on-one outside. I do know that Carson would probably want to have that throw back a little bit, probably make a little different throw in that situation. We had some opportunities, on that particular play to go other places, and I think that's a play we'd all want back.
Go ahead, Bo, and then Daniel.
Doug, I think there's sort of a fascination with Jordan Mailata from the fan base, and they're curious why, if you knew that Sayamalo and Herbig were not going to be out, did you consider playing Mailata at left tackle and Peters at guard?
No.
Why not?
Because we really felt like that Jason Peters has settled in over there at left tackle. He's done a nice job for us. He actually played really well yesterday. Was a lot more explosive coming off the ball, even in previous weeks. And I kind of addressed this, I think, either last week or whenever it was with Mailata, but we just felt this was the best, best 5 going into this game.
Go ahead, Daniel, and then Mike K.
Hey, Doug, you've talked about the team's frustration and your own frustration. How do you make sure that gets channeled into a positive instead of something that becomes a negative? What do you do as a coach, with your players in that situation?
Well, the number one thing is when we get together, I address it again with the team, right, and I bring it to the forefront. I kind of I guess as I lead the team, I want to make sure that they understand where I come from as the head coach. I also got to make sure that we understand how we prepare during the week and how we practice during the week. And I want the leadership of the team to understand that and really embrace and rally around each other. And quite honestly, what I've been, I guess pleased about with the guys is in situations like this, they've always rallied. And, as I alluded to earlier in this press conference, the guys are mad, the guys are upset, and they can really channel that into a positive, right? They can feed on that and sort of use that as momentum going into the next ball game, or at least these next 7 games that we have remaining. And there's a lot of pride. Listen, a lot of pride in that locker room, coaches and players, and we'll get it fixed. I mean, it's definitely been a work in progress. We're slowly getting some guys back healthy, which has definitely been also an issue for us, first half of the season, and I think that's a positive too that we can lean on.
We have time for 2 more, so we'll wrap it up with Mike and then Jamie.
Doug, it seemed like you made a concerted effort to stick with the run a little bit longer than you typically would when you're trailing. You were close to 50-50. You stuck with the run.
The run. You said the run.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so you stuck with the run more than you typically would, at least this season.
I'm honored. I'm touched.
So during the bye week, what did you learn from self-scouting with the run game and how it could maybe be effective if you stuck with it moving forward?
I think one of the things we learned that we have been a lot more effective in our 11 personnel grouping, our 12 personnel. 12 has kind of been a mixed bag for us. We either going to get base defense or we're going to get nickel defense, and it's been a little bit of a mix. The Giants gave us a little more base defense as the game wore on, but we're a little bit better in our 11 personnel on offense, where we can kind of spread guys out. And that too becomes important because we can take advantage of the zone read a little bit better in those situations, which have been helpful for us. Some of the advantage throws that you're seeing Carson make on the perimeter, to Greg Ward or the guys, and so those are all things that we studied during the bye, and then each week we try to put our best set of plays in the run game together. To attack the front that we're going to see.
Go ahead, Jamie.
But I appreciate the compliment, though.
Doug, you talked a lot since last night about anger and how angry you are and how angry the players are. At what point does anger turn into action? At what point do you need to look at making a personnel change on the field, or mixing things up on the sideline or in the coach's office? At what point does anger turn into action?
Well, I listen. I get what you're saying. As soon as I get off of this call, I go into action, and I go into action towards the Browns, and we start putting a game plan together for the Browns. And I don't want to get in a situation where it becomes a knee-jerk reaction for me or for the team. I've got to sit back, and I do have to evaluate everything. And listen, we're still sitting here in a really good place in the NFC East. I know it doesn't look pretty. We understand that. But there's still a lot of ball ahead of us, and there's still, I think, a great opportunity for this football team moving forward. And that's the motivation, and that's the I think that's the drive that each of one of us have. I know that's the drive that I have, moving forward. And as I said earlier, that's where the channeled aggression is going to go. It's going to go into the team and into this week, and obviously the next several games. So I just don't want to. I'll take a look at things, and if there's a chance to make a personnel change or whatever it might be, I'll take a look at that. But I just don't want to make a change to change, right? There's got to be a reason for the change, and I just know that definitely starts with me and my messaging with the team, with the coaches, and getting everybody on board on the same page. Nobody's pointing fingers. We're all pulling, the rope in the same direction, and that's what we're going to do.
Thanks, Coach. Thanks, everybody.